iHeart, get ready. Fantasy football is here. Welcome to the Scout Fantasy Show. ScoutFantasy.com is home to the Fantasy Football World Championships and the best players in the world. Real money winners giving their secrets to help you win. Now exclusively on iHeart. This is the Scout Fantasy Show with your host, the one, the only, Dr. Roto.
Dr. Roto, get out the insurance cards, get out the copay. The office is open, my friends. So let's get to the huge trade that happened. Absolutely enormous trade. Happened over the weekend. I didn't see this one coming. I don't know how many people did, but I was sitting there and little Roto was, playing some tennis. And I was at his tennis lesson. And all of a sudden I get a call from Scott Atkins. He goes, "What do you think about the big trade?" I go, "What are you talking about?" He goes, "You know the big trade?" I go, "I have no idea what you're talking about." Well, then he tells me that the Jets trade up to get the 3rd overall pick. And the Colts get the 6th pick from the Jets, the 37th, the 49th, and the next year's 2019 second round pick. And I'm about, wow. I just thought that was a very bold move for the Jets. And they absolutely overspent. They overspent in this trade. I don't think they needed to do all this. I think they could have gotten away with one less pick here. But, I mean, according to the charts, I think they gave up a little bit too much. But from what I've read here, and what I understand is like that trade they did last year where they got Jermaine Kearse in a second-round pick, their thought was if they didn't get Kirk Cousins, they were going to use these picks to move up. Right? They were going to use these picks to move up, and that's what they did. So now if you're the Jets, you guarantee that you're going to get yourself Darnold, Rosen, or Allen, or Mayfield. You're going to come home with one of those 3 guys, or 4 guys. Going to get one of them. I don't know who their guy is, but they're going to get one of those guys. Now, I think a lot of teams are going to feel the same way, and they're going to want to move up into those spots because they want to make sure they get them. Buffalo might want to move up, right? That's another team that could move up if they wanted to. Maybe Buffalo moves up and trades with the Giants. The Giants go down a little bit, get a bunch of trades, get a bunch of picks. I don't know if I would do that if I were the Giants. I would still want to take Saquon Barkley, but I could see it as a possibility. So what does this mean for the Jets? As I said before, the Jets have Josh McCown next year and they have Teddy Bridgewater, but they get their guy. You get the future of the franchise. Now the question is this, are you assuming that Darnold is gone, right? And let's just argue that the Giants take Rosen. Let's just argue that. Are you going to be happy with Josh Allen? You as the Jets have to be happy with all those guys. You can't say, I really want Baker Mayfield, and when he goes 1, you're screwed. Can't do that. You got to be happy to get any of those guys. I think they would be. I think they would be. Otherwise, they don't make this deal. Now, if you are the Colts, I think this says this trade really helps your roster out big time. You have a lack of defensive presence. And I think it says, hey, Andrew Luck, he's our guy, right? Andrew Luck's our guy. Maybe you get a defensive line help at 6. Maybe in the second round you get yourself a big old linebacker. Maybe in the second round pick you get yourself, I don't know, cornerback. You got to fix this defense, Indianapolis, because it's terrible. Maybe you take a wide receiver. I don't know. But you have to fix your team, I think it's a very good deal for the Colts, too. I love when trades work out for both teams. The Colts needed players, and the Jets needed a quarterback. Now, I'm fine with Josh McCown for 1 year. I'm okay with taking a flyer on Teddy B, but none of these guys are the answer to the Jets. The Jets' answer was Kirk Cousins, but when he didn't take $90 million and he settled for $84 million with the Vikings, the Jets were in trouble. Right? So the Jets had to do something. Otherwise, they were going to be mired in mediocrity for more years. And what if Josh McCown got hurt, which is possible? Now you got Teddy B and nothing. So you got to bring in a guy, and you got to, at 6, you're praying that somebody's there. At 3, somebody's going to be there. So did the Jets give up too much? Yes. I think they gave up too much. But did they have to do it? Maybe yes. Did the Colts get a lot? Yes. Did they have to do this? Yes. This was a must deal for the Colts too. So I'm glad that the Colts made this deal. All right, let's take a look at my Oakland A preview, the Athletics. First of all, Jonathan Lucroy at catcher. I think this guy's going to be in line for Comeback Player of the Year. Something very weird where this guy, I'm telling you, in 2016, is one of the top catchers in Major League Baseball. And he's going in like the third and fourth rounds of drafts last year. And then he all of a sudden decides to suck. I mean, really suck. Like, epically. So to me, something happened. I don't know what it is. I'm not sure what it is. But I think he can fix it. And I think playing in Oakland might be the greatest thing that ever happened to him. Nobody's paying attention to Oakland. Nobody even watches those games. I think he's going to do just fine. And I think he's going to have a comeback year. I mean, now comeback for him could be 12, 13 home runs and 50, 60 RBIs. But it's better than the crap that he gave you last year. Seriously. I am all in on Matt Olson. All in on Matty Olson. I have him in FSTA. I have him in Labor. I have him in Tout. I have him in my home league. I am in on Matt Olson. Now, I'm just saying this. Before the Tout draft, which I could not be at, I told my friend who was drafting for me, I said, do not come home without Matt Olson. Why? Because I think he could lead the American League in home runs this year. He is prolific. Prolific. That's the kind of power he has. I think this guy gets 40 home runs literally sleeping. Literally. So I would say that I am all in. And if anybody can beat Aaron Judge for the AL home run title, it's this kid. I know that the average could be bad. It's possible. It could be Adam Dunn-like. But if it's 250 or 260, who's going to be happy? You're going to be happy. For right now, at second base, they have Jed Lowry. But let's keep our eye on Franklin Barreto here. I really like this kid. This guy can absolutely ball. I mean, he's got power, he's got speed, he's got average. You know, they'd probably send him down and wait for the inevitable Jed Lowry injury, which is going to happen. I mean, seriously, it's going to happen. So, and Jed Lowry never can do it over a whole season. So, take a look at Barreto. I like adding him late. Marcus Semien. It's another guy that suffers from Oakland A disease. Oakland A disease is when people don't care about the A's because they're in Oakland and nobody pays attention. Did I ever tell you the story? I may have on the radio before. One of my doctor friends plays in a league where they only draft guys from the AL East, NL East, AL Central, and NL Central because the West are too late and they're all in bed by 10 o'clock. So they take the West guys off the table. How funny is that? So that's an example of people not even knowing how good Marcus Semien is. Marcus Semien can get 25 home runs and 15 stolen bases. It's possible. Now, he may hit you 245, 250, but the numbers, the counting stats are going to be really good. I'm a Marcus Semien fan, and he's not going to cost you as much as other guys will. Matt Chapman, like Matt Chapman. This guy's a hitter. Now, he plays really good defense, and he's got power, but he strikes out a lot. Not a little, a lot. So keep your eyeballs on him. He could go 240, which I'm not really a fan of, but he could be getting better. And I'll tell you this. Sometimes I look at the smart guys in the industry. Smart guys such as Brent Hershey, Baseball HQ, certain guys like that. When Brent Hershey and Ray Murphy are both taking him in different drafts, that means they're in on him. If they're in on him, maybe I should be in on him. Sometimes I do that. I'm like, well, I think the guy's okay. And then I see some guys, Ron Chandler, Larry Schechter, Todd Zola, Brent Hershey, Ray Murphy. If they like him, maybe I should like him. You know what I'm saying? I'm a very good player. But some guys are great players. And if they like a guy, I have to be open-minded to it. I really don't like the outfield here in Oakland. I don't like Matt Joyce at all. I mean, he hits righties, but really, what does he offer? Chad Pinder is just a guy that you can plug in all over. Dustin Fowler is interesting to me, but I don't love this guy. He's not special to me. I know he's got some speed and some power, and he could be good, and he was good in the minors. I don't know if that translates just yet. I like Stephen Piscotty. It's very sad what's going on with his mom. His mom is sick, and so the Cardinals traded him to the A's so he could be closer to his mother. I think that's a wonderful story. He was a very good hitter just back in 2016. Struggled last year. I think he rebounds. But, he's not locked in when he's dealing with his mom. Just saying he's not locked in. That doesn't make him a bad kid or a bad player, but I don't know if he's 100% concentrating on what's happening. Chris Davis, this is Chris with a K. I'm a big fan of Chris Davis. This is a guy, here's his batting average from 2015, 247. 2016, 247. 2017, 247. But the guy hits 40 home runs and 100 RBIs. He's like a lock for it. So you know what he's going to bat, and you know what he's going to hit. I mean, this guy is as predictable as they come. I love this guy, and I think that he's somebody to really look at in any leagues that you need power. Just know if you have a Semien, if you have a Chapman, if you have an Olsen, if you have a Chris Davis, you have to surround them with guys with good batting averages. That's very important. Critical. All right, for the A's, Jarrell Cotton. You can't be picking Cotton this year because he's out with Tommy John surgery. All right, Sean Manaea is their number one pitcher. Now, let me tell you something there. He was taking ADD meds last year, and I don't know if you guys know anything about ADD meds. They make you not hungry. So if you're not eating, you're losing weight, and if you're losing weight during the season, you're losing velocity, and if you're losing velocity, you get wailed on by hitters. And that's what was happening with Manaea. So I think now that they've corrected his dosage, I think he's going to have a turnaround year. Is he perfect? No, but I think he's a pretty darn good player, and I keep my eyeballs out on him. I think he could be in line for comeback player. There's really nobody else in the starting staff that I'm thrilled with. Kendall Graveman really doesn't do that much for me. Very few strikeouts. Andrew Triggs has had decent games here and there. Not a guy I really like. Trevor Cahill did have a good parts of last year, but I just don't trust him either. I don't know, man. I just look at their pitching staff and go, ugh. I mean, really bad. Take a look at AJ Puck, or if you want to call him AJ Puke, I'll just say Puck. But in Double A last year, he had 64 innings, 86 strikeouts. So he could be close. He could be close if any one of these bums ends up stinking. I just really don't like anybody here. I don't like the relievers, Chris Hatcher, Emilio Pagan, Yusmerio Petit. I don't really like any of these guys. I don't think they're terrific. I'm going to have to take a look at them. I would think Blake Trinan is interesting. Now, why do I like Blake Trinan? Because he was Blake Trainwreck when he was with the Nationals. He really was bad. I think his ERA was over 7. Then he comes to Oakland, and lo and behold, his ERA is 2. So who is the real Blake Trinan? Now, the interesting thing is there will be a lot of people at your draft who won't be sold on Blake Trinan. But we have to take chances somewhere, right? We have to take chances somewhere, and a guy like Trinan is interesting because he holds the job, and he's good as he looked last year. Well, this could be a 40-save guy because I don't think the A's are winning many blowout games. They'll be winning a lot of like 10-8, 7-6, 4-2 because their pitching staff stinks. So with that in mind, I think that Trinan is a very good closer who you can get in the middle rounds, who you cannot pay a lot of money for at your auction, and he could provide, good value. And that's what you're looking for in leagues. You're looking for value. And Trinan is not going to cost what Roberto Osuna is going to cost. But at the end of the year, if they had the same number of saves, it wouldn't be shocking to me. Okay, I want to talk to you about something very important. If you go to scoutfantasy.com, you're going to the wrong place. That's not us anymore, guys. We're at scoutfantasysports.com. I know that's confusing. But if you're going to scoutfantasy.com right now, you're paying CBS. Don't pay CBS. Pay Scout Fantasy Sports. Right? Pay us. Don't pay CBS because CBS isn't doing anything for you. Scoutfantasysports.com. You can get a free gift if you sign up by the end of March. Still not too late. That's where you need to go. If you go there, we will hook you up and do our best to lead you to a fantasy championship. But right now it's time to put away the insurance cards, put away the copay. The office is closed, my friends. Remember, we're on from 1 to 3 p.m. Eastern on the Fantasy Sports Radio Network. And this is Dr. Roto saying be well and take care.
Thanks for listening to the Scout Fantasy Show. There's never been a better time to join the Scout Army. Visit scoutfantasy.com. Use the promo ROTO for 2 months free. And don't forget, fantasy players, please thumbs up the podcast on the iHeart app. See you next time. Go Scouts!